to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Check waifu waifu. Jiminy Crickets, is that you?
I knew you was gonna do that. I swear I knew.
This is episode 166 of My Check Waifu Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex. Make sure you check out lubecomplex.com. They have a site-wide sale with a lot of classic designs. So check out lubecomplex.com. Even though our coupon code don't work with the sales, still check them out for their new releases. Use the code waifu to save on your entire cart. Also brought to you by don'ttalkshop.com. Make sure you go to don'ttalkshop.com. Use that offer code waifu15 to save on merch. And don't talk about it. Be about it. This is Mic Check Waifu Waifu, the anime podcast brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CDT. We talk about anime topics, seasonal anime mostly, and just whatever we feel like talking about in the anime space. This episode will be brought to you by our Patreon producers. The only thing I didn't have prepared. It's crazy.
It's a podcast at this point.
Shout out to our Patreon producers. They support us at the Weeb tier. AB Aaron Brown, aka the Shabil Boy, aka the Respond Gazette podcast host, aka my friend. Shout out to Dre the Goat G. Analytical Zone, Johnny, Cat the Pro from Chaotic Culture, explicitly my Telle Main's waifu, Monique Williams, and our boy, Nachi. Nachi, let me know how the fam's doing, brother. I ain't heard from you in a while. We are here to, we got some stuff to talk about, Telle, all right? I got a few things to say, but before I say those things, I gotta say, what was your episode of the week?
Dang, I ain't get it. How you doing this weekend? Nothing.
How you doing, Telle? Sorry. I'm sorry, bro.
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm
chilling. Best life?
Yeah, I got to get a cricket repellent or something though.
Something, bro. Y'all can probably definitely hear it. It's probably definitely coming through the edit. There's these crickets outside of Telle house that's fucking chirping away. They going stupid. It sound like when your smoke alarm is your battery low on your smoke alarm. But it's constantly going off.
The worst part is that I just feel like every time we bring it up, they crickets with a tiny violin. they playing their legs.
The motherfuckers getting louder and louder and louder too. It's crazy. It's so loud.
I swear, it's the worst. How you feeling, bro? What's good for you this week?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. I managed to get a lot of rest, and when I wasn't resting, I managed to get a lot of stream time in and have a good time with the folks over at twitch.tv/polobornfly. It's a fun time. It's a fun time.
I heard it's fun over there for sure.
Yeah, great time. Make sure y'all check that out. Yeah. And other than that, man, I'm gonna just say it here, bro. And this is something we talked about pre-show.
Yeah.
But our time away from the socials have been riveting.
And I told you this before as well. I've actually enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. Mm-hmm. And I was actually just talking to my wife about social media and like my presence on it like for years. So it was like, as a kid, I guess in middle school, I had no interest in social media. Mm-hmm. And the reason I even found out what social media was because of our friend, brother from a long time ago was Burke. Mm-hmm. First introduction to social media, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I interact with people. Didn't even really know if I was interacting with people. I just assumed I was because that's how technology is supposed to work.
Right.
But it's like ever since then, it's just social media has been too big. And I think that sometimes it just feels like it's getting too big and you gotta, take a step back sometimes.
It's the falsification of life that I just can't I can't gel with, and it's never been my type of way of living. And the crazy thing is I always had brands, right? Like there's always been a brand associated with me, and I've kind of pride myself on kind of learning as the internet matured, quote unquote, even though it still ain't matured yet. I've always had a brand. Whether it was like the shooting the music videos back in the day and helping Javon, which is my older brother, helping Javon with the music side of things and giving him advice, or him giving, us just bouncing ideas off of each other. And then it was, Phelan Studios. It was the photography stuff. The photography stuff was huge. It was a big part of what developed me into becoming who I am today. And then after that, it was streaming. And then the streaming stuff became... It just fucking popped off, and that became again another brand that I had to worry about, and I had to feature social media more and more. But I could never like put on these facades that I see all the time on these social sites. And I know it's an anime podcast, but we're gonna get into it. Fuck it. I can't. It irritates me so much to just see myself scrolling and just looking at stuff and ready to post something. And what I'm be ready to post, I don't be wanting to talk about it, because again, it's just not who I am. Like, right? I don't want to. And this goes, shout out to our sponsor, don'ttalkshop.com, but this goes to that whole philosophy. Just don't talk about it, be about it, And I don't want to do that. I don't want to, as much like I've said this, the one thing I said on Twitter, and I feel disgusting for saying it, and I'm gonna read the tweet here just to give y'all a little piece of what I'm talking about. And it's just, it feels dirty to even do this, what I'm about to do right now, but I gotta share it the way I feel. Like I put and this is just how I feel, but I feel like it was just exposing too much, even though I don't think it really was. But I said even if the outcome for applying for Twitch partner don't pan out, it's still been an incredible 2 weeks from the time from being able to apply and having the most subs I ever had. It's been a hell of a ride. I posted that and I feel fucking dirty. I'm like, ugh, because that's not, that's how I feel, yeah, but I don't like to express that shit with. I just don't like to. It sounds like I don't know, showboating or whatever. I don't fucking know. I felt good, Yeah,
and the thing is that, like, I don't know if you hear the train.
Definitely heard the train. Fucking Kingdom Hearts in your backyard right now.
They back there beating the fuck out of Heartless. But one of the things is that trying to develop like this healthy relationship with social media and whatnot, it's kind of like some of these things. I feel like, like I'm hyped to hear you tweet that, right? Like, because this is how I am for you, because you're my brother, right?
Right.
I'm like, damn, like that makes me hype, and it also kind of makes me feel bad to think that you would feel like you showboating or gloating by saying that. And I just know that, like, personality wise, that's not really your style. Right. But for me, I know, like, shit, I'm gonna showboat for you if I can, for real.
I appreciate that.
I was just telling Polo before recording, I was hyping him up, telling my wife, like, Polo about to be a partner, he about to do this and that, and I'm gonna hype Polo up too, because that's just the kind of person I am. But that's also like, that's the issue with social media, is that it makes some people feel very comfortable to share, and I feel like it makes some of the real people feel uncomfortable being real.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's one of the things that I always think about with Etika, is like Etika was being his real self, but he was still doing too much. Yeah. And that's what drove him off the edge. And that's just that healthy versus unhealthy relationship with social media.
Absolutely.
That we always got to battle. Yeah.
And it's not like I will ever let anything that anybody say on social media get to me ever. Like the best, and the funny thing is I make fun of the people.
Man, I'm fairy tale fans. We almost there.
The funniest thing is I be making fun of my community, because the game I play is called Black Desert Online, and it's a PC MMO, obviously, and the community is just full of like people who are so into the meta, and if you don't know what meta is, that just means that they're into, like, it's not Facebook or anything crazy like that. They're so into like doing the things the most efficient way for the absolute best results possible. And if you don't do it that way, they will fucking mold, and they will get upset. They will be like, yo, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're supposed to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, you're gonna not max out on your top skills or whatever. And I love making fun of those them. For some reason they still come back, because I be talking all my shit, but that's how I feel with social media. It just feels like it's a bunch of, and I must use game terms, min-maxers on there that just like,
I was thinking the same thing.
If you don't do the social media shit this way, then you're doing it wrong. Listen, I promise you nobody's gonna be upset if you don't just say hi, or if you know, like I don't know. I just feel like it's a bunch of fake shit that I don't gel with. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this part out. Maybe I'll keep it all in. But I don't know. I don't like it. I hate it.
Or you can always go to the coveted after story.
Yes, true. The After Story podcast that's exclusive to Patreon, and hear these discussions in more detail. Very, very, very detailed stuff. There's some old episodes there that get into the weeds of this stuff. But I don't know. I'm gonna end it off with this. I appreciate if you enjoy social media, but don't let that shit run your life. Don't let that shit become your social battery. When your social battery is a digital thing that you're scrolling on, stop. Let it go. Drop it. Put it down for a month or two. And if you feel like your life is reliant on scrolling through that shit, then you're going to have some serious issues in your real life, period. It's just plain blank. So understand that it's not real. These people aren't real. I promise you, you don't know who I am. You don't know who Telle is. I don't know who Joe 3475678 on Twitter is. I don't know who none of you motherfuckers are, to be honest. But listen, I will say this. We appreciate every last person that rock with us and that understands that we are taking a step back from the social side of things, and that help us, retweet our launch episode posts, because most of that should just be scheduled tweets. We appreciate anybody that hits us up and say, I'm gonna respond to anybody that add us on Twitter, regardless of if I'm on social media or not. So shout out to Rob, aka the father of Vash, who tweeted us, aka shout out to Damzilla, who tweeted us. But listen, we are always going to respond to you guys if you hit us up on socials. But if you don't see us, we're okay. We're just living our best life, having a good time. Now, this is an anime podcast, I promise. Tell, what was your episode of the week this week?
It was hard because I had to choose between Parallel World Pharmacy and then everything else. I'm gonna go with Tekken Bloodline, because I watched all 6 of the ONA.
Okay. Interesting.
But Parallel World Pharmacy, if I didn't watch 6 episodes of something I thought was actually pretty good.
I'm gonna tell you that's not even touching my episode of the week this week. Rent a Girlfriend.
That was also, oh my God.
You thought that was good?
Rent a Girlfriend?
Yeah, I hated this episode, bro, so much. We're gonna talk about that for sure.
Nah, it's a lot of episode of the week. Yo, episode of the week is Rent a Girlfriend.
I said I'm not gonna make it my episode of the week.
Oh, okay. I
tell you what's not my episode of the week, Rent a Girlfriend. Now, but what is?
There was some stuff in Rent a Girlfriend I like this week. But go ahead, bro.
At the end for me personally. But man, it's for me, it's a tough choice between Black Summoner and Parallel World Pharmacy as well.
Yeah,
Black Summoner was so good. It was so good this week. So I'm gonna go with Black Summoner since you did Parallel. No, you did Tekken. So I'm gonna do Black Summoner though. Great episode. I love the outcome of what he ended up doing. I was confused at first on why he, after the last episode, I was confused on why is he doing this? Is it just for the fight? But no, everything all made sense, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, I thought I knew what he was doing. I thought it was in his head.
Yeah, right. So as far as the spoiler talk, we obviously going to do Summertime Rendering in the second half of the show after the song break. Overlord 4, which was a great episode too, by the way. Holy shit. And where do you want to go? Parallel World Pharmacy or?
Yeah, let's do Parallel World Pharmacy.
Yeah, that was a great fucking episode. All right. Easily. Let's get to it, brother. What you got for me?
All right. So my episode of the week, like I said, is Tekken Bloodlines. I just want to start this off real quick because I know it's a Netflix anime. Visually, I could definitely see why some people might not like it because it's a very sharp, jagged lines and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it from the standpoint of this is a Tekken like anime, and the storyline is followed 100%.
Wow.
The fighting is followed 100%. This looks like you're playing a Tekken game, but it's animated. Like it feels like you are actually playing these characters, and like I'm not gonna recommend. I would never recommend this for someone who doesn't know anything about Tekken, because shit just happens too fast. But for someone who already knows the story, I feel like it was such a good 6 episodes. Like they couldn't have done it better.
Now let me ask you this question specifically, Telle, because I'm not as biased as you when it comes to this. Like I like Tekken fine,
yeah,
but we all know the Tekken story ain't shit. Even in video games, it ain't shit. It ain't never been shit. But like, is it because of the fact that you know the game story lore so well that this story worked out, or is it actually a decent rendition, or is it just because it's a decent rendition of the game story that you like it more?
I think that this part of the story was the best part for them to tell in general, right? Because they could have started at so many different places, and they didn't have to start here.
Well, it was Jin, right?
Yeah, it was Jin. They could have started with like the original first Tekken tournament, King of Iron Fist 1, right?
Do you think they could have though?
They could have. They would have had to extend it. It couldn't be 6 episodes. But Jin, being one of the most popular characters from the series, is an easy character to start with, because if you know Tekken, most people know Jin's story and where he is. And I mean, slight spoilers, it starts off with Jin and his mom. So as we know, we progress all the way to the end with Jin trying to essentially get to the point where he gets to fight the demon god, and it's fucking ridiculous. And visually, I think great visual representation, especially for Tekken. Like I said, every punch, kick, combo, they did the fucking hit effects from the actual game. I was like, nah, I'll fuck with this. This is dope. But everything felt meaningful for the timing that they gave us. They didn't give us any like thing that felt like this is just like filler moments, because they didn't have time to. I kind of like this 6 episode. I kind of like this six episode like structure. I'm not gonna say. I think the only thing that could have made this longer is they gave us 6 episodes and made them like almost like how Arcane was, 45 minutes, something like that. Because I think it was paced great. But if I was someone who didn't know Tekken, it would have been hard to digest this.
Arcane is so good, bro. You just made me miss Arcane. So my question, and this is going to be obviously for our brother Burke, I'm going to ask this question. How was Steve?
He got a cameo, but he ain't get no screen time.
Fuck. Sorry for CJ, that is. I'm not really. I don't really care.
I was like, ain't no way like they can make Steve like seem viably like a good fight against the shit that we got. Like, yeah, he a boxer, but everybody using their hands, their head, and their feet, and Steve got one kick move and a bunch of punches. Like, I get it. He in the game, he's something serious, but in this world, it's hard to see him match up with the people who fighting in here. Yeah, trained killers and stuff like that.
Was he trained by, what's his name? Hitachi, I think his name is.
Heihachi,
yeah.
Jin was trained by his mom first on a pacifist fighting style. Yeah. Heihachi don't like that because Jin is a Mashima. Yep. So he went in there and Heihachi trained him on the...
God, dude, I'm starting to remember all these story beats now.
They back out through their chest with one punch.
Yep. People get thrown off cliffs and shit.
And survive.
Exactly.
I was like, what?
It's so stupid. Tekken's story is dumb, but for like a video game story, it's probably one of the best, to be honest. Like, and that's not saying a lot because these stories don't be shit, but like it's still one of the best stories in video games for like the fighting game scene for sure. Because I can think of Mortal Kombat, maybe the Mortal Kombat X was pretty good, but still, I don't think it still fucks with the Tekken, because the Tekken one you get kind of almost invested in like Jin and the devil demon himself.
The devil, the Kazuya Jin, Jun Kazuma. It's a bunch of craziness in there.
Absolutely.
And then all their names got to have some kind of semblance. But like it was cool because they showed us a lot of the like cameo characters that are super strong or were defeated, and then they also just kind of they just went by the story well enough that made it refreshingly good for something like I wasn't expecting. I saw it was out and I was like, let me turn it on. I know it's gonna be good fighting, but it was actually just better overall. So
decent, yeah.
Love
to hear it. Let's talk about one we picked up from a suggestion from our boy Julio. What up, Julio? Thanks for listening to us, brother, and we appreciate the recommendation.
And those anime girls pod for
cosign
back in that recommendation.
So it said herbivorous dragons of 5,000 years gets unfairly villainized, which is I only was able to pick up one episode because, to be honest, I totally forgot that we were supposed to watch it because, again, our hiatus from socials, I totally forgot that it was recommended until I got on what was it? I think I got on TikTok for something and I saw your video pop up. I'm like, oh shit, I was supposed to watch this. So I turned it on for one episode, which is interesting because they're only 13-minute episodes, which is something different. 13-minute episodes is I've never really liked those before. Like the Peter Grill one with the super ecchi one was like that. Hated it.
The issue is that when they do the 13-minute episodes and that's just it for the week, like it is different from what we used to. Like if they gave us 2 13-minute episodes and just kind of split them up into different sections.
Yeah,
like each 13 minutes is a different own thing, kind of like what Cartoon Network does, I guess, or
what Komi Can Communicate does. Komi Can Communicate does like tell multiple stories within an episode. They just kind of split it up in like chunks, essentially, and like it's always 2 longer ones and then 1 shorter one, and then they like do it like one's in between the other or one's first, and then the other longer pieces are separate. Like they do it like that, and I think I would have preferred it to be that way because I don't think I got enough time with this, even though I only watched 1 episode and there's like 5 out right now. 3, 4.
5 is 5.
Oh, it's 5 out. So it's 5 out right now. Even though I didn't get much time with that first episode, it was adorable. It was pretty cute.
Very wholesome.
Yeah, the problem is I don't see myself watching it until it's done though. I want it to be done and I want it to go all the way through.
Well, yeah, because the episodes are so short, it kind of just makes it easily digestible. Very. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm caught up on the 5 episodes that are out, and the our dragon is hilarious.
Very much so.
And it's ridiculous. Him revealing who he is, like is wild. And then how much confidence or what other people see in him when they immediately see him is literally, don't judge a book by its cover. And you see him and it's the wrong book, man. Flip the page. This is a dragon who does not dragon well.
It's not that he doesn't dragon well. He's just a different kind of dragon that people assume, he's a certain kind of thing. You know what it reminds me of that makes it so good? It reminds me of My Devil as a Part-Timer. It's that same kind of that flipping on the comedy spectrum between, the isekai being going to another world. It's this fucking dragon being thrusted as a villain because he's a dragon. You assume that all dragons are villains, like
or at least strong.
Yeah, true. After watching this week, technically it was last week's, but this week's episode of My Isekai Life with them dragons, it's like. It's kind of a cool like dichotomy of the 2 types of dragons, or overlord even. Well, that's a little bit more similar to a dragon we got now, to be honest.
You're right.
But it's all good, man. And yeah, I like this herbivorous dragon of 5,000 years gets unfairly villainized. It's really, really fucking good. It's definitely our kind of shit when it comes to like the wholesome, digestible, chill stuff.
Yeah, good sure. Comedy.
Great comedy. What's pretty funny is that there's the little girl when she was fighting the wolves in episode 1. I was like, oh yeah, pop off.
Yo.
Pop off. Is it Korean?
It's Chinese.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's Chinese.
Interesting, okay.
But it's still very, very good, like regardless. But I wanted to say, speaking of that, I picked up another random series The Daily Life of the Immortal King. Did you ever watch that one?
The Daily Life of the Immortal sounds super familiar.
It came out in 2020, and I literally randomly just turned this on because I was going through Crunchyroll. Like, let me just turn on something on a random day. And this first episode is actually kind of ridiculous. It's like the overpowered character who I'm not even sure if he knows he's overpowered, like how Saitama is. Mm-hmm. But he basically, what's happening is there's this giant Naruto like frog destroying the town, like just fucking the town up. Polo, all this evil magic and stuff. He's blowing the town up, and everybody's fighting to seal and kill this frog, and they couldn't kill it, so they ended up just sealing it beneath the town. When they finally seal it, we see this guy looks like he's sacrificing himself to seal the dragon, or I keep saying dragon. He's sacrificing himself to seal the frog, and we wake up, or the screen changes, and we're going to school, and this all the kids going to school for their magic, reveal test to see how strong their magic is. Everybody's fighting it. And then our main character goes up basically, and we get a flashback to the day that the toad or frog was sealed, and then he actually beat the frog. And the heroes who basically came in after that,
yeah. The
heroes came to seal the toad.
Is this joint on Netflix?
I didn't see it on Netflix. I saw it on Crunchyroll.
So I was searching it while you were talking, and it pulled up Netflix. I clicked the link, so y'all might have heard a little bit of Netflix in the background.
I'm gonna keep watching it. I watched the first episode. It was funny, but it was also action oriented. So I'm like, I'm gonna check this one out.
Very. What I'm still irritated on is the fact that you haven't watched my stepmom's daughter is my ex.
Why would you say that?
Did you watch it?
Did you look at my annual list?
I did not.
So yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes.
3 episodes, okay. Talk to me.
It's the worst anime I've ever seen in my life since you keep bugging me. Nah, it's actually it's very enjoyable. It's so it seems to me, and from what I've seen so far, it seems to me like the guy is trying a lot harder to make it seem as if he doesn't care, whereas like the girl is working harder to get it out of him, trying to break him from his indifference. That's what she said in the first episode. Yeah. Second episode, it wasn't like that, and I don't think the third episode was like that. But basically, I do like these characters. I like the dynamic.
Yeah.
And the fact that they got into this situation and then they're trying to hide it as well, kind of like what you explained. Like they're like, basically, we can never let them know our past. And it's like, right. First of all, y'all are kids. Y'all past is not that deep, bro.
Don't even matter for real.
It's not that deep.
But you know what? It feels deep, right?
Yeah.
Because it like everything it just feels, I don't know, like it's, the circumstance just seems messed up because you can tell like they don't, at first, especially between the first 3 episodes, you could tell they don't like each other, and their goal is to just kind of like survive in this situationship that they're in right now.
But I can't tell they don't like each other.
Yeah, but that slowly opens up when you get to like episode 3, though, doesn't it?
Okay. Well, yeah, because to me, so I agree that it seems like they're hostile to each other. Mm-hmm. But I guess it seems to me that they still obviously like each other because they remember so much about time with each other. Yeah. And, that it seems like they like each other, just more standoffish, or they're trying to abstain from saying how they feel about the others, mostly because of the predicament they're in, probably.
Right. I can't wait till you get to more, because there's some situations to where, like I said, they say stuff, and this is just credit to the dub, because the dub is actually phenomenal. But they say stuff that seems like they don't want to do this for the sake of, because they are exes. Mm-hmm. But it also seems like they don't want to do this because they're in a situation to where they're step siblings now. And it also means that they don't want to do this because of, like, it's just a bunch of different scenarios that's kind of layered on top of each other that feels like,
yeah.
What do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying?
The Oni-san situation that happened and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like, but what do you mean by that kind of situation? And it's like, I just want to know what's going on. I like the dude character a lot. I think he's probably the strongest of the two. Even though I respect the realness of the girl. Like, the girl is just legit. Like,
Yeah.
I can't handle this shit. I was a dork. I'm trying to change it up. It kind of reminds me of Love Don't Cost a Thing again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that movie goated, man. Top 5, man. Top 5. Probably because Kristen Milian, but I digress.
Oh my goodness, Polo.
I digress. Anyway, yeah. What's next, brother? What else you got? I promise you, I had a question to ask you, but I totally lost it.
So your sleeper this week. What you think?
A Black Summoner. Yeah.
Not just Black Summoner, not just sleeper.
Oh, my sleeper. Oh, Call of the Night. I forgot that was my fucking sleeper. Fuck.
So you didn't care nothing about these new vampires that popped up?
No, that shit was kind of made it more trash for me again, because I'm losing the mysteriousness of what do you call her, Naja Chan or whatever her name is. I'm losing that. Like they literally gave us everything about her and about the situation and the fact of basically who she is in general, which it took a step back, because what we had last was such a huge step forward that, like, being introduced to some more vampires in a whole little fight scene, and it was just kind of like, not needed, not necessary.
So I'm not gonna say this is rare, because I think Polo and I agree a lot, but I agree with you. And part of the issue I had was that the entire aspect of this is supposed to be mystery, like this mysterious love, right?
Yes.
And to hear that these vampires are not just popular, but they're like, there's a whole vampire society, which I understand there should be a vampire society, obviously, right? But they shouldn't, and I just don't think they should have introduced us to 4 or 5 vampires. They should have brought in like 1, maybe 2.
Yes.
They really have just oversaturated the entire anime. We barely have seen human characters.
Yes.
In this anime, we have 3 human characters that actually even have made any kind of impact on the show, which one of which we haven't seen in 2 episodes, and the other one we've seen twice. And it's just like, now we have more vampires than we have humans in a show that made these vampires seem so mysterious. And
the best part about it was the relationship that was being, like, the good part about the show to me was the relationship that was built in this isolated island between even his middle school friend with him, his middle school friend and her and him, that little triangle, and then they threw in that adult situation. I forgot. I can't remember.
It was a great situation, in my opinion. I love that.
Very good situation. Like, it literally took the show down from like a 6 to me to up to a 7, and then it went back down to a 6 when they introduced the rest of the vampires, because it's just like, why are y'all here? Like, and then like you said, you did it perfectly. The whole mysterious nature of this is gone now, because the point of the vampires is now to literally make people fall in love so they can generate offspring, and that's like their whole goal, which then makes the entire show kind of mute to me, because now it's like, okay, now it's like, we know that she's not doing that for that particular reason, but we know that that's what these vampires are supposed to do, and it don't feel as naturally becoming as what it was going to be when they were introducing us to the situation. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it is nice that our main character, Vampire Nasuna, has like her own characterization within the vampire community. Yeah. It does make her seem somewhat special. Yep. But to hear how easily the other vampires made it seem that they could turn him into a vampire diminished like the whole aspect of it. Like, I guess that kind of solidifies it, makes it stronger, but also kind of makes it weaker in my mind, right?
Yeah,
like,
it definitely
makes it stronger in the sense of like it solidifies Nasuna's like thought process that she wants to be different, or she is a special kind of vampire. So because she doesn't quite necessarily want offspring, she just wants to live her life. But like, it could be easy. Like, this is what y'all do. Like,
Right.
he should have already been a vampire. We shouldn't even been taking this long to even get to that part of the show. So it kind of, it did, like you said, it kind of brought it down a peg for me.
Yeah, but to throw in something positive, which is something I want to try to do whenever I talk negative about a show, I want to try to sprinkle in the positive, because I want y'all to understand that I do see, like, I do look at stuff objectively now. Like, I look at it at a wider scope than just, no, this shit's trash, and normally people will move on from that. No, that's not what I do. I would like to incorporate some positives. The positive is the main character is still pretty good. You can tell that he's unique in himself by just literally being himself and just being as honest as possible within the circumstances that he's forwarded to. Like, it's him that's literally like keeping the show afloat, because his uncertainties but honesty is very refreshing, especially when he's talking to these vampires and he's telling them, like, hey, look, this is what she said, this is what we're gonna do, this is the plan, like, we have this go, and they just
that's
straight
what
up
saved him, more or less, you know.
And he didn't even think about it that way. He was just thinking about it like, no, I'm gonna just tell y'all what's up. Ain't no reason to bullshit. And I like that. And that's quality. That's quality in the character. Though I still find the romance to be real tacky, real boring. But the vampires coming in made it worse. But our main characters, I like the main character a lot. He's actually likable.
I don't even hate Nasina. I think
no, she's good too. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think that, like,
the characters are fine.
What's really good about her is that how she interacts with the world in comparison to him. Mm-hmm. Like, just, she makes situations around them interesting, but it's like, this extra stuff, I feel like almost slowed it down. Like, it's the hamster wheel going in reverse now.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. Well said. That's a fact. But I mean, and to put it in perspective, right? Like, we had this main character that's awesome, that's better than average, right? Also, in My Stepmom's Daughter is my ex, great main characters there as well. Mm-hmm. You know what main character pissed me off the most
this week?
Yes.
Who?
Rent a Girlfriends, man. That fucking episode. Now, we're not going to go into spoilers of it. I just want to touch base on it just a little bit, because we're not talking any spoilers talk. I do have to mention Kazuya's fucking this whole date situation, that and the way he acts is so frustrating that I couldn't handle it. It was too long of this like this fucking this uncouth fucking lack of confidence that just, it was so sickening. It was like, okay, enough, just no more, bro, stop. I kept feeling like this dread whenever I'm watching this episode go through until like the end. The end is when it got better, but I just couldn't stand that part.
And you would think that after a year of this experience he's been in, after the things he just recently went through with like Ruka-chan, Mami-chan, then back with Ruka-chan, then arguing with Mami-chan again with Ruka, and then coming back to Mizuhara, you would think that he'd just be like, you know what, man?
Her hair smell is gonna make me fucking go basically nut in my pants. Sorry.
He literally is the worst though. Like, for any possible situation, bro. Like, a high school uniform is not gonna get me there, bro.
Come on, bro.
I can't do it.
Real awkward.
It ain't enough.
It's that,
like, is it cute? I guess it can be.
It's adorable, but like, I guess,
it's not gonna get me there. And I guess I don't see.
It's the culture differences, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope not, because I mean, it's some weirdos here too, but sheesh.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. Something we just can't rock with. And again, like you said, after a year, enough is fucking enough, bro. You're not getting this nervous and sweaty and from a super average date with this girl you've been quote unquote seeing for a year, and it's just enough. Like, I've had enough of it. It's so taxing. I was watching this episode.
Average is the right thing to say.
Yeah, true. I was just so over it, because it lasted the entire episode that I'm like, I can't take any more of this. I was ready to turn it off, but then, like I said, at the end, it got a lot better. So I don't know, man. Worst episode of the season for me so far, probably. Yeah, definitely worst episode. What was the positives you got out of it?
The Ferris wheel.
Yeah. That was when it cleaned up.
Yeah, the Ferris wheel I thought was a cool part. Even though like he got slapped, it was like he apologized. I thought it was stupid that he said he shouldn't have been losing his balance. Like, yo, losing your balance is normal. It can happen to anybody.
Definitely not your fault there, Chief.
Yeah, it's just the stuff they make him apologize for is weird, but that was overall that Ferris wheel moment was nice.
Right.
Even to see her efforts when she started talking about, the original Ferris wheel held 36 people per cart, and it was, or 60 people per cart, and it held up to 2,000 people in total, and blah blah blah. I was like, yo, she really, like, she's the highlight in this moment.
Yeah.
Because you're a shitty dater, first of all, bro. Not you, but
Oh yeah, 100%.
He's a shitty dater. Can't hold a conversation. So instead of letting an awkward moment happen, Mizuhara knows how to, circumvent that. And I'm just like, bro, you got to step your shit up. It's been over a year. You can't feel this uncomfortable. Like, it's just, come on, man.
Yeah, part of it is my fault. Like, I go from great main characters to that from time to time. Like, with the way I pick my episode order when I watch the episodes, I'm like, ugh. Like, main characters can be this, but you're acting like this. It's just, I don't know. It is what it is. And to wrap up the anime talk for the first half of the show, I gotta ask you this question.
What's up?
Heat Week was last week, aka the midterms. Episode 6 they were all fire. Now that the honeymoon phase is over, for lack of a better term, did it continue to peak, or would you say it leveled out?
Hold on, what continued to peak?
The shows. You know how the shows episode 6 was like, bow.
This week was very sternly not as good as it was last week. But do I think there was some bangers this week? Definitely.
Yes.
I definitely think Always, Made in Abyss, absolute banger. Summertime Rendering, absolute banger. Overlord, absolute banger.
Vermilion Gold.
Vermilion Gold was another really good episode. I said Summertime Rendering, Made in Abyss. Parallel World Pharmacy. That was the banger of the week so far this week, at least in my opinion. Like, I'm not saying this is my episode of the week, but it was definitely that for the week itself was an absolute banger.
I agree. Can't wait to talk about that in the second half of the show. Yeah, and I think again, the continuous climb of Black Summoner as well. That took a trip up for sure. Like,
Black Summoner, great episode this week.
Yeah, I would say yeah, pretty good. My Isekai Life I even enjoyed. Yakuza got the babysitting I even enjoyed. Per usual though.
Like I said, it was still good stuff, but it felt like last week everything was on this game.
Yes, man, I agree with that. Something about those episode 6s, man. We keep a pin in this because we're gonna touch base on this in the fall season to see if that continues, because a fall season is just dropping with some heat. I'm gonna say in about 2 weeks or so we're gonna do our preview episode for the fall. About 2 weeks. So around episode 11s of these other shows, which is where a lot of them ends episode 13s and 12. So yeah, we're gonna start touch bases on the fall coming up here in about a couple of weeks, maybe a few weeks. Looking forward to it. All right, let's get to know My Check Waifu. This is part of the podcast where one of us rolls a random number generator, i.e. me this week. The other reads a question associated with that number. How many questions we got?
11.
9.
What anime character would you want to be stranded on a deserted island with?
Pharma. Fuck.
That's a good choice. That's
a good choice. You could conjure anything from anything.
I was going to choose what's his name, dude? Senku from Shokugeki no Soma. Not Senku. Is that Senku?
Senku was from Dr. Stone.
Yeah, I don't want Dr. Stone. I want the dude from Shokugeki no Soma. I want Soma.
Oh, from Food Wars. Okay.
Yeah, I want Soma from Food Wars.
Soma from Food Wars for sure. Yeah,
we gonna make the island the best life.
True. You gonna be whipping up some good shit.
I swear. I'm gonna learn how to cook when we finally make it off the island. I'll come home like, look, babe, I've been gone for 5 years, but let me show you these recipes real quick.
Facts. All right. When we come back, we're gonna spoil Summertime Rendering, Overlord 4, and
Parallel World Pharmacy.
Thank you for being my memory. We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 166 of Mic Check Waifu. Let's get into the spoiler talk. We're going to full spoil, Summertime Rendering episode 19. Holy shit. 6 more episodes left. Crazy.
I was thinking the same thing about how fast this anime is coming up to its end.
Yeah.
Like, did we deserve this anime so far? I feel like we didn't deserve this.
Yeah, we definitely did. We didn't, but we did, because we just came from 86 and then we just jumped right into Summertime Rendering, it seems.
Yeah.
Gifted, blessed, I guess, if you will. Episode 19 was fucking crazy. So we know that to be honest, this is hard to kind of make sense of this episode because a lot of shit happened and you were just like, well, I was just like, what? So for instance, we obviously start back up on the island after the reset, where our boy Shinpei was back to where the start was when he was protecting the kids from the other shadows with Ushio. But this time Ushio's gone. Then Haine on the beach as a crow has been watching him. We come to find out the whole time as a crow, and finally waited for this situation to where Ushio was dead, where she can make her fucking move. He grabs the shell from his pocket, and for some reason Ushio's shell, and for some reason Haine retreats when she's literally at the killing blow. That part to me was the first time in the show I was like, wait, what? I don't know if that was enough for her to literally completely retreat and stop in mid-attack. Why would that do that?
So I had a couple things because I was thinking the same thing.
Why you sound so low all of a sudden? Well, it might be me. It's me.
I got a couple things that came to mind when I saw that part. Right. The first thing that came to mind was obviously Ushio. Right.
Right.
The fact that she recognizes Ushio as a threat, and let's say she recognizes this as something that is Ushio. She, I'm just saying because we don't know how she perceives it exactly, right? So that if she doesn't have the energy to fight Ushio right now, right? She thought she's fighting, just him unarmed. He's a human, nothing special. Easy enough for her to kind of come through and do whatever she need to do. But if it's Ushio in the current state, maybe she feels unsafe, unprepared in that moment to fight Ushio.
Yeah, that's hard for me to believe. And it's only hard for me to believe is because you're in mid-attack. Let's say the shell itself, because you remember we talked about how we saw her like flash something and it could be a piece of her or something like that to save herself, whatever that case may be. Maybe the shell is Ushio. Even still, obviously, if it is Ushio doesn't have the strength to fight right now because in a situation to where he's in mid-attack, getting attacked by these shadows, literally the fucking motion of the shadows jumping at Shinpei is coming at him. Rawr, and she says, no, wait, and disappears. So if that is Ushio and she's resting, she still have more than enough time to kill him.
But she don't know if Ushio's resting is what I'm assuming, because Ushio, she's not connected to Ushio like she was to the other shadows anymore.
Why stop? Ushio pops out and kill the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Then dip the fuck out. Dip the fuck out.
That's what she did. She dipped the fuck out.
Dip the fuck out after the attack. Don't stop mid-attack. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense to stop mid-attack. Wait till she comes out. When she comes out, then you dip the fuck out.
Yeah,
like if you have the ability to do that, like you're Haine, you're obviously able to summon these shadows and make them disappear almost at an instant. Why not just finish through with the attack? Not saying that I wanted it to happen.
Nothing she did was quick though. Nothing she did in this scene was quick.
That's crazy because it was extremely quick.
What part did she do that was fast?
Everything happened in an instant. We saw. What we saw was just a mental, like it was just a mental breakdown of everything. She summoned the shadows came out, they came attack. If you look at it from the perspective of
that's not the part I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is Haine coming in, right? Mm-hmm. She's a crow, raven, whatever, right? How fast did she get there? When she left, how fast did she leave? She didn't take off like a shadow that could move fast. She got up and flew away like a regular crow is how I'm perceiving this. So to me, it doesn't seem like she actually even has the power to be an actual threat in a fight right now. That's just what it looks like to me. That's why I took it as the way it's like maybe she is viewing this as something that it's a battle she can't win right now.
That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense because you had fucking, it looked to be 10, 15 shadows literally surrounding one human. Mm-hmm. Even if Ushio had the time to come out, she had to deal with 10 to 15 shadows. And we know from watching her, she can maybe deal with 1 to 5, but 10 to 15 shadows popping out at Shinpei, attacking him at the same time, isn't enough for her to kill them, then get Haine like that. Mm-hmm. And again, Ushio, if she's just resting, trying to recover from being gouged with a fucking pole arm. I get it. Like, I get it if that's her and that's why Heine left, but it still doesn't make any sense to stop mid-attack the way she did. Like, if she summoned the shadows were sitting right in front of her, and then he clenched the shell, and she's like, she did her tisk thing and tisk, wait, and then pulled out. That would make much more sense to me in the sense of, okay, she believed that was Ushio. She's like, nah, I'm not ready for this fucking fight. Let me dip the fuck out now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would make more sense to me in the grand scheme of things. But I will say this: Summertime is extremely good at explaining things after they happen.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I was going to say, do you trust this team? Because they ain't let us down yet.
Yes, I'm gonna keep trusting it until when the next episode come. Them not solving this problem, this dilemma for me. If they don't solve it for me, I'm like, okay. Well, they got one past me, An episode went from 11 to a 10. Well, damn. Oops. Mistake, guys. It's okay. Like, whatever. But I just feel like that was the only time this where I was like, I kind of like did the head tilt. And this what is in a way like, what's going on? It was in a way of, why did that happen? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like, ugh, it was weird. But again,
the copying of Shinpei though.
Yeah. And the explanation of the copy of Shinpei was crazy because I'm like, well, how the fuck did they do that?
And she copied everything on his person immediately. Just,
of course,
bruh. And she busted.
What was different is they normally don't explain that deep, right? They don't go back to the previous loops and talk about how he was copied before when he had his phone, when they had two phones vanish. They just make us remember that. But because they explained that in the way from Shinpei going back in his mind to replay all the loops was so fire. That's a perfect way of doing the retellings of situations. Instead of just flashing back to it, having the main character relive it. And I think we can only do that with Shinpei because his objective thinking, right? Like, I don't think you could go and say
do it, Subaru.
Yeah, you can, or have him revisit some of his old previous deaths. But I don't think he has the mental capacity that Shinpei has to do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
The only one we got is what's his name, Akube from
Akube. Yeah, you're right. I think he definitely could. God, man, such.
Yeah, Summertime is still a 10 out of 10 for me.
For sure.
Every week, great episodes, great explanations. It doesn't even have to be action filled. It could just be what it is.
I mean, and this one was.
Yeah, and I love that how Ryunosuke and Hizuru, they figure out immediately that's not Shinpei.
Right, of course.
Because they just built different.
Yep. And then that fight, and she's like, yo, you did this because you wanted to protect my body. Fuck this shit up so we can fuck them up.
Yeah, bro.
I'm like, oh no.
And I get it. This anime is like a mixed bag of things when it comes to like the action orientation, the mystery orientation, the horror orientation.
Yes.
But when they do get into that action bag, bro,
incredible.
It's actually wild.
It's like top tier fucking shonen kind of action type shit. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they doing this right all the way to the T.
They're doing this right all the way to the T. Wow, Telle, that's crazy. I don't know why just now. I've heard that saying before, but for some reason it never played off in my head like it just did right now. What the fuck? What a weird click. Because, right? RIGHT, all doing it right all the way to the T. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. I'm just now hitting that. Wow. I feel like a doofus, man. Anyway. Oh God.
Hello, wow.
What do you? I can't believe I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed right now. Oh man, let's do a gut check for next week. What do you think is gonna go down next week?
I think Hizuru is gonna die.
Oh,
I think these deaths are gonna be a lot more permanent going forward.
Yeah, I hope the fuck not, man. But That's killer, bro. That's killer because I've thought the same thing, and I was hoping you'd be like, I think he's a rule, but I think she's gonna die killing Shide. But like,
yeah, she's gonna put in work, but yeah, she's definitely gonna die.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a two for two. Like it's gonna be an each other kind of thing, which fucking sucks, man. Because I love her so much. Like, to be honest, she just might be my waifu of the season, even though she wasn't in this season. Damn, I can't even do that. I can't even. Because this is our podcast, I'm gonna retroactively change my waifu from Yor to Hizuru.
Okay.
Just because we can. She's great, bro. She's so great.
Yor was great too.
Yeah, she's fantastic, but Hizuru is just she's on another level. Different. She's on another level. Like the conversation she had with her brother was just enough for me. And then
the little moment when he finally got to speak to her in real time.
Yep. And because of that, and then her ending pose when they're about to start the shit with Shide, I'm like, she's just something else. She's something special. I just love her.
Also, let's talk about how she had control over that shit the whole time. Like, she really could have been talking to him in real time the whole time.
Yep. That I was like, fuck. That kind of blew me. She's like, we ain't got time for this. Let's just do it. We don't even know the punishment that her doing that is going to cause them as a whole, which the reason why she probably didn't do it is because it's probably a fucking equivalent exchange kind of fucking thing or something. I don't fucking know.
Is she doing it because she got told, hey, yo, stop playing. Use my body, blow Shide head through his asshole, and let's do this.
She said,
whatever happens.
She said we can win. And when she did that jump back and you saw her fucking calf muscles strain, I was like, oof. I get it now. I get it. I get why he wouldn't go all out before, because it probably will destroy a human's body.
Doing shadow moves in the human body.
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable show. Everything that's not understood is always explained.
Yes.
And that's what makes the show so great.
In a timely manner.
In a timely manner.
On their time.
Yep. On their time, but without leaving us wanting, because it's always something on top of something on top of something, and then they go back. They go back to something prior in the past and explain that something that we just didn't really pick up too much on, but we should have, knowing what we know now, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Incredible, right. Incredible fucking show. Let's move on. Next up, Overlord 4.
This is a kind of funny episode.
Kinda, that shit was hilarious.
Because Irons is goofy. He goofy, but it's because of like how everything played out, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just going back thinking about how he was saying, I don't have a spell that can do the same thing that my baby goats did. Yet he walks up to dragons and just heart grasp. Yep. That's it. Just grab their heart, and that's the end of the conversation.
It's like I said, as long as they're below a certain level, he could do that to anybody.
And he was eager to do it on our first dragon until he was like, "Oh no, I'm here to help." And he, heart go away. So you see his dad don't want to listen. He just went straight up, cool.
And then the Y is just like, okay, no, whatever you need. I'm his mom. Because the sun dragon, essentially, Ainz pulled up on the dragons that were supposedly these beings that were protecting the what they call it, the Korgogs or something, whatever the fuck that logo.
Korgwas.
Yeah, something like Kadobas, I think they call it.
That's a Chipotle offshoot restaurant.
Whatever. It's close enough. Basically, they were being essentially, they were using those dragons to protect them from the dwarves as like a fucking a mutual relationship kind of thing. The Kadoba, I'm gonna call them Kadobas from now on. The Kadobas feed the dragon gold. The dragons then protect the Kadobas. Give and take kind of situation, a D&D-esque kind of relationship per usual in Overlord. And the Kadobas go to the dragons like, yo, something that took out a lot of our people were very strong, and it seems like the dwarves have access to this power now, and we were wondering if we could borrow your power so you can put them back in place. The dragon's like, you know what? Sure, but let's send our fat lazy son fat, lazy, smart son over to just take care of it. He'll scare him off well enough. But that dragon, his son, happens to run into the king of Nazarick himself, Ainz. And Ainz, like Telle said, almost literally grasped his heart in an instant and said, "Oh, look, a dragon. We need a dragon's flesh and materials to maybe craft something special in the future."
And the pudgy joke he made.
And the pudgy joke, yeah, how the pudgy joke was hilarious. I forgot about that. But the dragon's son was like, "Yo, hey," he recognized the powers of Ainz, and he's like, "Yo, whatever you need, just don't kill me. I can walk you right to the leader of the dragons, and you can settle this your way." Basically, what happens, and then he gets walked to the king of the dragons, essentially. But before he gets to the king of the dragons, he asks Ainz, "Hey, like, can you show mercy on my mother?" And he's like, "You know what? Okay, I promise I'll show mercy on your mother, but the rest of them gotta die." And he's like, "Okay, good." Gets to walking towards the king dragon, and he meets the king dragon. He says to the king dragon, he says to the son that he's walking upon and say, "Hey, look, which one is your mother?" No, he kills the king dragon because the king dragon is about to kill Ainz. It's like, "Oh, it's an undead. What is an undead doing here? You ain't got shit on me," basically. Mm-hmm. And Ainz grabs his heart and instantly kills him. Which is just fucking hilarious.
What level is an elder lich in this world?
Well, he's not an elder lich, but an elder lich in this world. An elder lich in this world, I believe, was 75. His elder lich subordinates.
They keep saying, like, what is the elder lich doing here? Like they keep categorizing him as like an elder lich.
Yeah,
like elder liches ain't insanely powerful, and just thinking they can hold up to him. And it's like, if an elder lich is level 70, 75, 80, what made you think you could talk shit?
An elder lich is ranked within the hierarchy of the elder lich type. Skeleton mage being the lowest, overlord being the highest, according to the image off. Hold on, I gotta click into it because Google only gives you part of it. It doesn't really say the elder lich level, but they're basically the middle. But the
overlord that's why he's called overlord, because he is the highest of the elder liches, right?
Yep. That's exactly right.
But when they keep saying that it's an elder lich, do they think he a skeleton mage? Is that what it is? They think he's like a low level mage?
I apologize. So let's just say, you remember the elder lich you summoned during the lizard arc? Mm-hmm. There was only 41.
Okay.
So elder liches of that level are roughly 41. But
they still, I mean, I guess technically they the same strength as skeleton knights. What's up?
Skeleton knights are 30.
Yeah.
Or 35. So close.
So they still up there. They're not like weak. So I was just trying to figure out like why they keep categorizing what they think he is as something weak.
Something weak, yeah. I wonder how strong the dragons were there, though.
I don't know. They did. Well, he did.
Dead as fuck.
Well, they did because he did kill 2 of them, right?
Yep.
That's funny.
Straight up. What's funny is like this all happened after Shautir's executes the mission perfectly too. I don't know if we talked about that last week. Did we talk about that?
What Shautir did this episode?
Oh, was it this episode that happened?
Yeah.
Damn, these episodes was fucking. They were so smooth. I didn't. Yeah.
So in the meantime, Shautir was Shautir in
Aura. And speaking of that, I've been calling, and I've been correcting Telle, and I've been wrong. We've been calling Myra Aura, and Aura Myra. So Mari.
Yeah.
So this Aura that's with them, not Mari.
Okay. So Aura, and Shautir go to negotiate with the Kugoas, and basically, they're not open to negotiations initially. And she, I was ordered to kill you until you get down to 10,000.
2,000
subordinates if you didn't want to disagree. And basically, they go from 6,000 to 10,000 pretty quickly because Shautir don't play no games.
No games.
It was brutal, bro.
So brutal.
Did Aura even help?
No, she didn't have to. She didn't have to at all. She was just like, well, I mean, you chose not to listen, so she was just back there chilling. What's funny is, again, watching Aura basically command a dragon with little effort because again they're below level 100, so she can control them. It's just so fucking crazy to even think about. But watching Shoutir remain in control while slaughtering hundreds and hundreds of Kugoas or whatever the fuck was thousands. Yeah, thousands and thousands to be exact, was crazy. And to watch him just send out like as many as he possibly could to even see if he had even the slimmest chance of wearing her down, which obviously they didn't. These fucking things are like level 25s and shit, like nowhere near close to it. But to see Shoutir remain in control was amazing for her character growth, because that's exactly what she needed to do to prove to Ainz, quote unquote, that she was better. But also the little comedy beat between Ainz and Shoutir about what actually happened to the
Death Knights.
The Death Knights, yeah. Instead of him actually thinking somebody strong enough to kill him, was pretty hilarious because it made it all seem like it was a part of his plan.
It just work out like that for him every single time.
Yeah, every single time. And that's again, that's the best part about Overlord's comedy, is that it's comedy that's legit. What's the word I'm looking for? Legit, like funny situations that you can't really expect, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he is what they consider an all-powerful being.
True.
And
to him, he's just a fucking office worker.
Yeah, he views them as like they're the real problems, and he's just here living his life.
Right. He making do what he got, unfortunately. I'm real interested to now know that fucking Ainz has Kugoas, dragons, runecraft dwarves. Unbelievable kingdom.
He's got 18 dragons in total, right?
Oh,
there were 16 dragons.
Yep.
There were 16 kid dragons, so that's 15 of them because one of them died, and then there was three moms and one father, so 18 dragons. He came up,
dude, and then 10,000 Kugoas and 26 runecrafter dwarfs off of Sorcerer Kingdom in just one expedition, bro.
This is why the Fighters Guild or the Adventurers Guild was worried. He's walking over into other people. I see you guys got a problem. You want me to fix it?
Just like that relationship.
Like, hey, stop going over there fixing shit. You're supposed to be undead and evil. Stop fixing stuff.
Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. I can't wait to see how this ends. But to know that this ends going into the Holy Kingdom arc was going to be so interesting, because then it's a movie. So for one, it's going to be a nice tight, quote unquote, we call it a long episode essentially. A movie of the Holy Kingdom arc, which is going to be interesting because I wonder if that's when we're going to get what they call her, what they call them, children or something or another, which I think those are like players. I'm thinking. I don't know for sure, but just a guess.
That would be dope if we actually get some player characters in it. That would be a good arc to
make a movie
to start on.
Be unbelievable to see Ainz and actually just the Tomb of Nazarick in general go all out against him. That's actually a threat to him. I'm interested to see. I can't wait till whenever that movie drops. I need to check out the trailers though, for sure. All right, and let's move on to the last but certainly most not least, Parallel World Pharmacy. Bro, how epic was it to see him fight against the Catholics? They're not Catholics or anything like that, and don't be offended, but it's just funny to call them that.
When he had to fight against the temple, it was kind of like what I expected. Like he didn't try and kill nobody. He didn't want to hurt nobody. He said what he was and what he was trying to do. They didn't listen.
It was so entertaining, bro, that I was blown back by how good that part was, essentially. And for them, oh God, it was so good. The way he moved was just extremely clean and smart, and just fucking made a fool out of the bishop.
You would almost think bro was fighting all his life.
Straight up. But he's just using simple alchemy to to craft some shit that definitely will win.
Yeah, and then revealing that he has more than one attribute to them was dope, because he didn't like just outright say like, I have 4 attributes, I have everything I can do. He literally was just doing stuff, canceling out effects, abilities, nitrogen shields against fire, all kind of stuff,
erasing the oxygen to put out the fire, all kinds of crazy shit that was just unbelievable. And again, using now those elements in a way that's so clean, even though it's magical, it still is just
felt surgical.
Yeah, pun intended. That like it just it makes me not. It makes no excuse for Dr. Stone. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, Dr. Stone has no excuse for being as fucking petty and childish as it is. And I think that's the difference. Somebody said it in my stream. I think I said this last week too, but somebody said it in my stream. Parallel World is a more mature version of Dr. Stone. And it's not even that.
I thought you said that.
I probably got it from the stream, so I probably stole it from somebody from the stream and took credit for it or something like that. Probably did. I don't know. but that's it. Just it feels like that because it's so like, even though I feel like you can watch it with your kids and be just fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still very much adult oriented while still being wholesome and sweet. But after that fight though, and he commenced surgery for the first time ever in his life and career.
Surgery on a human. He's done tons of surgeries on lab rat.
Yeah, but so have we, right? Like we've cut open a frog before. You know what I'm saying? I don't make a surgeons. So like, and by we I mean in school. Obviously, we not. Right. Me and Telle wasn't as kids out here cutting up bugs and shit, whatever.
Yeah, we're not murderers.
Right. But like even this. Just watching that happen was just so fire. I wish we would have seen more of it and saw how he did do the surgery. Maybe that would be a little bit cool, but I understand why they didn't.
That had to been an uncensored episode, bro.
I understand why they didn't, because that's a lot to kind of throw in to an anime for one. And then two, they had a lot more inside of this that was relatively important to the main structure of the story and the pharmacy itself. And that's, you know,
3 months pass.
Yep. After the 3 months pass and he saves the bishop he was the leader, he was the commander of the Templar. Yeah, he was the commander of the Templars, and then he pulls up and shows that he's been promoted to bishop, and with that promotion he decides to do everything he can to help Big Pharma with his pharmacy by giving him this fucking staff that looks incredible and that's out of this world, literally.
Can only be used by divine power wielders.
Yep, insane to even think about. A necklace that gives him his shadow back and suppresses his with Pantheos power,
his divine power realm.
And then we learn, which is something I think was the most important piece of this episode, was how the guild operates. Like the guilds that operate with the other shops are basically fucking these other shops. These other shops can't take the medicine that Big Pharma is using to help cure, like, you know, commoners and nobles all at once. That is actually working better than the medicines of this world naturally, and it's keeping them from doing business, you know, with that medicine. So,
but like you said, Big Pharma's got a plan for that. He's opening up his second shop, which will allow him to establish his own guild. Yep. And he can bring those lesser shops in and actually do what he said he was going to do, bring that health and medicine to everybody.
Which is going to fuck him in the long run as well, because like we still don't know who did it. I thought it was the Templars that brought the carriage with the mud in and shit to kind of put him in a vulnerable situation, but it wasn't. It was somebody else, which obviously we know it's the other guild, right? It has to be, right? You would assume. The other merchant.
They don't want him stepping on their toes, you know?
Yeah, true. He coming in hot.
He's royal. You know, he's pretty high up in royalty.
Yep. Cheaper prices, better medicine. He's like Little Caesars out here.
And he had the makeup.
Oh, true. He did kill the whole makeup market.
He got stuff they don't have.
Yep. That's crazy. Wow, man. Wild to think about.
You know, he almost as good as what's his from The World's Finest Assassin.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, man. Unbelievable. I can't wait till that show comes back, by the way. But Yeah, man, great episode all the way around. I thought the shoppings with his sister was fucking phenomenal. So adorable. She's just the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
I love it.
And him taking advantage of actually being able to do stuff with his sister this time around.
Right. I didn't even think about the fact that without his shadow being like there, he couldn't do shit in the daytime proper like a normal person would. Even though he still maneuvered, he still managed.
But even how they explained why he doesn't have a shadow was dope too, because it wasn't that he was evil and just didn't have a shadow. It's because the being he is a being of light. So he is the light. There would be no shadow.
Yep, always. That's crazy.
I was like, that's fire. I love that explanation.
And it's even crazier because of the direct opposition of that, and why the temple believed him to be a heretic is because, which they explain, like a divine being with no shadow was evil. It's like something's wrong with that. Like I forgot what they said specifically, but I digress. It was fire to see that the complete opposition and why they thought what they thought actually made logical sense, and then come to find out what they thought was the opposite of what they thought. He's actually the epitome of light. So it's like, well, that's why he also doesn't have a shadow. Not that he doesn't have a soul, you know. It's just that he's just light. It's crazy. Good show. That's a wrap, bro.
Great show. All right, we just finished talking about Parallel World Pharmacy and all of its greatness, and how you can be the light in somebody's world, even your own. Shut up. Overlord season 4 and the upcoming movie. We hype. We so excited to see what's coming next to this anime. Summertime rendering. You already know every week some greatness. On our break, we got to know Mic Check Waifu, or before our break, we wanted to know who would you want to be deserted on the island with. Don't choose anyone bad. Choose someone who can make good food. We also we try not to forget about this. So we're gonna talk about the peaks. What episode 6 does for anime coming soon. We're gonna do that a little bit more. Rent a Girlfriend, another great episode. Well, a cool episode, had a better ending. Call of the Night took a step back for us. The Day Life of the Mortal King one I picked up was actually pretty good for the first episode. I'm gonna keep watching that. A Herbivore's Dragon we picked up. Thanks for that recommendation, by the way. It's a very wholesome, funny anime. I watched Tekken Bloodline, another really good 6th episode. If you love Tekken, pick it up. In our episodes of the week, we're taking Bloodline and Black Summoner, and that's for episode 166 of Mic Check Waifu.
I'm at Polo Borfly on all social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media. You
can follow our social medias at Mic Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mic Check Waifu on TikTok and Instagram. And as always, Mic Check.
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu.